Welcome to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everybody, you are listening to episode 52, the 5 professional skills you must master. Hello, how are you guys doing today? Thank you for finding me and this show and this particular episode. I think we have a good one today. So we're going to talk about the skills that I believe that you need to be successful and skills that you probably weren't taught in school and probably have overlooked. I have a feeling they might not be what you think I'm going to say, but I'm going to outline 5 really crucial skills that I think that you need to have to really be satisfied and successful out there in the working world. So welcome to the show. Thank you for finding me, and you're always welcome to go back and dig into my archives. I'm starting to get quite a list there. We're up to 52 episodes. I'm a year's worth of shows. I'm really, really excited about that. So we're kind of entering like season 2. It's like Career Uprising season 2. Let's get into the topic today. So there are many critical skills, of course, that you're going to need to be successful in life and in your career. And I often think that the best ones are the ones that we're not really taught, the ones that are not quite so obvious. They're a little bit more abstract and kind of considered softer skills, but that phrase, soft skills, is really misleading because I think it makes it sound like they're less important, and the exact opposite is true. So I want you to think of softer skills as not less important, but just a little bit more intangible, I guess, a little bit more abstract, big picture, right? But very, very important. So the real secret, I will tell you right now, to career advancement and satisfaction is going to lie in these soft skills, far more than it is in your actual knowledge. All right, knowledge is great. Knowledge has its place, but knowledge has its limits. But I truly believe there is no limit to what you can achieve when you're emotionally intelligent and you have terrific soft skills and self-awareness. So that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today. And you hear me talk about that a lot on this show. I think I just talked about it in the last one, in the last episode, but that's because it's really, really critical. So listen up. Today's show is good. We're going to reveal what I believe to be the 5 most critical soft skills that every professional needs to master in order to win job offers, promotions, but also just be effective and satisfied in your job. Okay. And it's good news too, because no matter what you do for a living, and even if you're in between jobs right now, this show is still for you. You're still going to need to know what are the skills that you need to master. So before we jump into, I want you to know if you have a career question that you ever want to have answered, there's a lot of ways you can get help and get answers to that question. I love to read questions on air and from my mailbag. So you can always email any work-related question to Lorraine@careeruprising.com. I will pull it out and answer it on air. How fun is that? Or if you want to take the next step, you can schedule to join me during my recording time, and I will coach you on air. That is powerful, and then there's no cost to you. So cool. So there's a couple of ways that you can connect with me. So don't be shy. Email me, Lorraine@careeruprising.com. Let me know your question. Let me know if you want me to read it on air, or if you want me to actually have you hop on air and we'll chat on the show for a couple of minutes. All right. So another way you can connect with me too is to sign up for my weekly emails. That you can also go to my website to get signed up for those, careeruprising.com. Got a little free gift for you as soon as you sign up to be on my email list. So make sure you grab that as well. And then I have a Facebook group. It's all by the same name, Career Uprising. And I'm on LinkedIn. There's so many places. I make it easy for you guys to get in touch with me and connect and get help. And it's all for free. Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I hope to see you there in one or all of those ways. All right, so what skills do we need to be successful? Probably not what you think. Probably, you might be thinking more along the lines of intellectual intelligence, and, you need to be a good project manager and be up to date with technology. And yes, I would recommend all of those things, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. Okay. What we're going to talk about, like I said, is your EQ, your soft skills, and those really, really hard to train skills. The reason that those soft skills are so desired by employees is because it's not like I can just teach you to be a better person or to be reliable or to have better judgment or indiscretion. Though I can't really teach you not to do those things the way that I can teach you to learn another hard skill, the way that I can teach you knowledge that you don't have or how to use a software system. I can teach you those things as your employer, but it's really hard for me to teach you things such as better communication, better confidence, being able to take criticism, all those things. Okay, so that's what we're going to be centered on today. And that actually kind of brings me to number one. So let's dive into the first skill that you need to master. Number one, accepting constructive feedback. This is a skill that will serve you well in life, all of life in your career. You absolutely must be able to hear someone criticize your work or offer you advice without getting overly emotional about it and taking it personally. Now, how they deliver that feedback can make a difference. I know, it's oftentimes they say it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and I think that's true. But you don't have any control over that. You don't have a shred of control over whether or not they deliver it in a nice way or not, right? You can only control how you respond and then what it means to you. So if this is an area of weakness for you, start working on this. Think about times when you have given someone else feedback. Were you doing it to be mean or just to insult them? No, I doubt it. You were trying to offer help and a different perspective and just help them to be better or more effective. So remember that when you're receiving feedback, put yourself in the situation of the person delivering the feedback. And remember that the intention is usually good, and therefore there is nothing to be offended by. This frees you up so much when you are no longer a prisoner, basically, to your own emotions, getting offended when people criticize things. I mean, I'm in a line of work where I'm highly visible. I put myself out there all the time in shows that I do and blogs that I write and advice that I give to clients. And not everyone's going to like it or agree with it or sign up for it or anything. But that's okay. I just keep doing it because I know it will reach who it's intended to reach. So I want you to think about that as well, okay? And get better at accepting constructive feedback. Number two, speaking in front of other people. They say that's like one of the top fears that people have, right? Is right next to death is public speaking. So this is important, I think, even if your job doesn't require actual public speaking, you still need to master this. Communication is such a foundational skill that's going to just spread through to every area of your life, okay, in every profession. You need to be able to confidently and effectively communicate ideas, strategies, outcomes, whatever it is. And much of the first impression that people have of you comes from your communication skills and how you represent yourself. And you don't get a chance to do that over again. you can improve people's impression of you, but it's harder when there's a negative first impression because you didn't represent yourself well and communicate well. Speaking in front of people is as simple as things like talking in staff meetings, project meetings, talking to clients, customers, vendors. It doesn't always mean you're going up and giving a TED talk, okay? That's not the only thing that I mean by public speaking. I just mean speaking in front of people in general, beyond just like a one-on-one private meeting. People are everywhere too. In case you guys haven't noticed, people are freaking everywhere. So you're not going to avoid them, and you need to learn how to talk to them. All right. So start identifying reasons why maybe you might be hesitant to talk in front of other people. What are you afraid of? Is it small groups, big crowds? What aspect of it scares you so much? Really go there and ask yourself what it is and what you're afraid of. And do you really need to be afraid of that? Because it's rarely ever what we think it is, what other people are thinking of us. It's almost always in our mind. So number 3, making decisions independently. All right. So whether or not you are in a leadership role, your employer, I guarantee it, will greatly appreciate you having the discretion to be able to make decisions appropriately, use discretion, even if they're small decisions. It still speaks volumes about you. And it saves them from having to micromanage you. Wouldn't that be nice, right? Or maybe they would anyway, but this is an important skill for you to demonstrate that you have. All right. And if they do micromanage you anyway, well, that's probably a reflection on them, not on you, right? I just talked about micromanaging last week in dealing with bad bosses. So if you missed that one the week before, go back and listen to it. These 2 shows are quite similar, actually. A lot of the skills that you need in order to deal with a bad boss, like I talked about last week, are the same skills I'm talking about today. Funny how there's the parallel there, because I didn't do that on purpose. You can see clearly how important these soft skills are and how they affect every area of your life, because I feel like a broken record sometimes, but that's okay. I want you guys to hear this message a number of times so that it really sinks in and you get it. And sometimes that's necessary. But yeah, the more decisions you can make yourself on a daily basis, I think the easier it's going to make your boss's job, and the more you will grow professionally. All right. So number 1 was accepting constructive feedback. Number 2, speaking in front of other people without dying. Number 3, making decisions independently. All right. So there's 2 more to come, but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I will tell you what those other 2 important skills are that you need to master. And I've saved the best one for last. It's a big one. Okay. All right. We'll be right back. Everyone, while the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you about 2 ways that you can get help in your career for free. First, you can sign up for my mailing list and be a part of my community. I offer all kinds of advice and solutions for your career problems. I also have a free guide that I created just for you called Strategies for Interview Success, and you'll get it instantly in your inbox as soon as you sign up. So head on over to careeruprising.com/signup and get on the list today. Then, when you're done with that, you can join my amazing Facebook group. It's also called Career Uprising, and it's growing every day. You can interact with me and ask questions about your own situation. So go on over to Facebook groups and search for Career Uprising, and I can't wait to connect with you. All right, let's get back to the show. And we are back just like that. Boom. Not gone too long, right? Thanks for sticking with me, guys. So we're talking about the 5 skills that I want you to really, really master. And I don't mean just, listen to this show and then go, yeah, that's important. No, I mean really, really think hard about whether or not you think that you have mastered these skills, because they're so important. So think about after listening to the show, think about how you can actually apply these in your life. And are you really giving it your all? Because these will help you grow personally and professionally. Okay. So, number 4, resolving conflict. This is huge. And I will admit, I'm one of those classic conflict avoiders. You guys, you're out there. I know I'm not the only one. Go ahead, admit it, raise your hand. There's so many of us out there. It is really, it's a type. It's a personality type. The classic conflict avoider. We hate it. We run the other way. I had years ago at one of my other jobs, I had a Strength Finders assessment done, and one of my top strengths is harmony, which is great, and that all sounds good and beautiful, right? That's a great strength, harmony. But the flip side of that is that means that I don't like conflict. And that not liking conflict is pretty natural and okay, but to the point of avoiding it, right? So that's what we don't want. We don't want to just avoid it at all costs, right? We want to avoid it if we can and if it makes sense, but sometimes it doesn't make sense to avoid it. And it's to our detriment if we avoid it because we don't learn how to get through it. Because conflict is natural. It's going to happen and it can be good. I'm sure you've heard that a million times. You probably don't believe it yet. That's all right. There is a natural tendency, I think, to avoid anything that feels bad, but some of us are truly better than others at handling this. So the rest of us need to get on board and realize that, it's not always good to deliberately avoid it. Because the tendency when you avoid conflict is to just keep things to yourself, never speak up, you never say if there's a problem, and things end up not getting resolved. But the irony of it is that facing a conflict head on is actually how you resolve it. So I will admit I have been a conflict avoider in the past because I love harmony and I love when everyone gets along and everything's great. But that's not realistic, right? So, like I said, I perform career counseling assessments now called DISC that I love, and they're really good at kind of diagnosing this. So if this is you, it's okay. I've certainly worked with some clients who have had that kind of come up in their results, and it's okay, but it's good to know so you can work through it, right? And what you have to kind of ask yourself is, what are you afraid of? Why are you so set on avoiding the conflict? What do you think is going to happen? What would make you more confident with it? Are you afraid of being wrong? Are you afraid of damaging your relationship with someone and having it be awkward? The thing is, those outcomes, it's going to damage our relationship. Oh, it's going to be totally awkward next time I talk to them. Those outcomes are not facts or truths at all, not by any stretch. People work through conflict all the time and move past it without it being uncomfortable. We make it uncomfortable by our perspective. So, in fact, I think sometimes it actually makes the relationship better. So expand your thinking here and see conflict as something that is necessary for progress and growth. And don't assume that it's going to have to be horrible and uncomfortable and awkward. Chances are you're making it that way by having that expectation. Okay. So the last one, I saved the best for last, I think. And I have to say, I suppose this isn't really a skill per se. It probably doesn't really meet the definition actually of a skill, but regardless, it's something critical that I want to empower you to know how to do. So professionally, well, for a lot of reasons, personally and professionally speaking, possibly the most important thing that you can do is know yourself. Know your own strengths and weaknesses. Self-awareness. Know who you are. Now, does this surprise you? Is that different than what you thought I was going to say? So here's why this is important. If you don't know and believe in your own value, it's going to affect your career and your life. It's going to stall your progress. It'll keep you from taking risks. It'll keep you from applying for promotions, being chosen for the job, and so on. I want you to know yourself, and particularly what you can offer to the world. This is the foundation for success. I work with so many clients who have low self-confidence, and it stems from this feeling of not being good enough, not feeling like they know themselves well enough to go out there and do what they want to do. And if you don't have clarity on who you are and what you do well and what you don't do well, it makes it harder to identify a good career and get the most satisfaction out of it. But now I want to put a caveat here too. If you're struggling with knowing what you're good at and what your strengths are, that is okay. That is okay. This is not meant to make you feel bad if you don't know what that is right now. So there's ways to figure that out. I don't want you to feel disempowered by this at all. Quite the opposite. Because I know a lot of people are probably out there thinking, well, what if I don't know what I'm good at? What if I don't have just one passion in my life, right? Or one clear direction? Well, I want to assure you that you can always get to know yourself better. That's always an option that's available to you. You can always discover your strengths just by asking the question and following your curiosity. You can always gain more confidence if you don't have it now. There are solutions to that. I think it's just a matter of you being open to that and wanting it and asking the question. And I know this because I help solve this problem for clients every day. And there's not just one thing in this world that you're good at either. You have multiple gifts and talents. I've never even met you, but I know you do. I know you do. So don't be afraid either that there's this, one thing that you're digging around to find and everything else is wrong. Like I've got this one career path, or I've got this one strength that I have that I know how to do. You are more complex than that. You're bigger than that. There's many things that you can be good at. My point with all of this, though, is just that I want you to always be on a path of self-discovery and always be asking, what am I good at? What are my strengths? How can I claim those and own those and feel good about talking about them and feel good about putting them on my resume and feel good about saying that I'm good at them? This has got to be the biggest challenge I see with clients as a coach, is not feeling like they can claim what they're good at and not knowing what value they offer to the world and then capitalizing on that and promoting it. The reason that I enjoy the level of success that I have now in my career and my business is because I've gotten to a point where I know what I want, at least right now. I don't have to know what I want 5 years from now. That can evolve. I'm not looking to answer that question, and you don't need to either. I just want you to know yourself right now. I just want you to know, what do you want to do now? What are your priorities? What are your goals? What are your strengths? What matters most to you right now? If you can answer that question, the path will unfold for you. What is the best career path? Should I stay at my job now or should I leave? Should I start a business or should I work a regular job? Those questions and those answers come to you clearly when you ask the question. So it's critical to know yourself for personal and professional growth. Know your strengths and know your weaknesses too, and your blind spots and your limitations. Take a 360 view of yourself. You're a whole person. There's nothing wrong with having those things, but the more you know about yourself, the more you can then course correct in your interactions with people, your career choices, the goals you set, everything. You're constantly becoming who you are and evolving. So don't worry, you only need to know who you are right now. I certainly have not done only one thing in my career. All the steps that I took along the way, all the other jobs that I had, they all led me to where I am right now in this moment where I do have a lot of clarity and I do know what I want and I am doing what I want to be doing. but it wasn't always that way, and that's okay. That doesn't mean I was lost during those times. That just means I was on the path. I was doing what I needed to do at that moment. So I hope this is making sense to you, because that's probably not the number one skill you thought I was going to say, but it really is important. Self-awareness and confidence in yourself once you know what that is, that you're good at. Okay? And again, if you need help with this, I am here. This is what I do. Okay? So you know how to reach me if you want help. If you listen to this show, you know my spiel. You know how to find me, right? I'm at careeruprising.com. I'd love to get to know you better and your situation and what your limitations and blind spots are and help you bust through them. Okay? So before I go, make sure you get on that email list, sign up for my weekly email so you can stay in touch with me, everything that is going on and that I'm offering, which is a lot. And I will talk to you guys next time. Have a beautiful day. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.